Welcome to the National Aquarium. My name's Stehle Harris, and I'm the manager of tours and experiences here. We have hundreds of different species here at National Aquarium, some endangered, some not, some you can find in your very own backyard. Caring for such a diverse collection of animals takes a lot of teamwork, and a lot of that work takes place out of the public eye and behind the scenes. So we'll be taking a deep dive to see just what it takes to run an aquarium of this size. We're here in Shark Alley, home to some of our largest shark species that we have here in National Aquarium. I've got Andrew here. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Shark Alley and the animals that make this habitat their home.
This is a 225,000 gallon saltwater habitat that is representative of the east coast of the United States. There's 5 sharks and ray species in this habitat. Several species that are threatened or endangered. We have sand tiger sharks that are threatened throughout their range, as well as sawfish species. We are lucky enough to have a pair of male large-tooth sawfish that are now listed on the Endangered Species Act.
What kind of specialized care does it take to house these endangered species?
A lot of training goes into how we feed them, how we work the exhibits, how we clean the exhibits, as well as when we do annual physicals and make sure that they're good and healthy. All sharks and rays are species that are imperiled and they need our protection, and we need to highlight them so that we can show the public what the threats are for them.
So my name is Deb Dial. I am an assistant curator here at the aquarium. It's one of my jobs that help take care of the puffins and the alcids. Hi. So the birds in here represent animals, seabirds specifically, that would live in the North Atlantic. The water temperature in this exhibit stays 50 degrees. The air temperature in here, if you can't feel it or see my ears are red yet, stays a very chilly 50 degrees in here year round. And then we actually create nesting spaces. So what's not here right now are lots of open burrows that go down to cameras so that we can watch the nesting processes. Learning what we do here, taking care of alcids in care, actually helps us take care of alcids when they are out in the field as well. Since you came in on the right day, Stehle, we have a special guest with us today. So this is Orzo. Orzo is our newest addition. Orzo is about 24 days old. So he stayed in this exhibit and was incubated by his parents until Orzo is ready to venture out onto the exhibit floor.
We're here in our Upland Tropical Rainforest, where initially guests may wonder why we would feature a rainforest habitat in an aquarium. However, given some time to think, if there's one thing that rainforests have, it's an abundance of water and an abundance of life. This is one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on our planet, so we're really thrilled to feature one here in the National Aquarium. I've got Deb with me again.
We really want people to come in and feel like they are in a natural habitat. And we really want the animals to behave like they are in a natural habitat. We watch their dynamics, we allow them to move animals in and out as they would, and they're doing it all on their own. They use the plants that are here for what they would naturally use them for. So if they need a plant to build a nest, that plant exists in here. And every single morning, the plants get watered and a heavy rain comes down, and on many animals they actually like it and they'll go for the rain. We keep the humidity a very toasty, I don't know, 70 on any given good day, maybe even higher. There's a lot of science that goes into this, taking an amazing habitat and actually bringing it in care and recreating it here.
We have a banana tree, we've got some vanilla vines growing, a cow tree, a lot of things that we use in our homes every single day. I think that that's one of the really important things about showcasing a rainforest here, is making people aware of the very direct connections that exist between us and these ecosystems, and the way that our choices really do impact them very much directly.
Being in it and immersed in it, I think it really leads people to want to conserve.
Well, thank you very much for letting us join you for your lunch.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to take things a little bit down in scale, visit some of our poison dart frogs that we house here. I've got Jessica with me, who is one of the animal care professionals who handles these habitats and the animals that live in them. We've got a lot of different little micro habitats here. How do you maintain all of these different exhibits and all of the little animals that live inside?
These exhibits are connected to a room behind them where the temperature is maintained about 80 degrees so that the air temperature that those enclosures are surrounded by is a nice balmy 80. But based on how wet it is, what the evaporation is going on in different areas, whether it's lighter or darker, the temperature is going to be different in all these little microclimates under leaves or behind moss or under rocks. And so the frogs can choose where they want to be.
So I know you have a lot more individuals behind the scenes than you do front of the scenes.
We do have a lot of these animals in our backup spaces and in our care so that we are able to maintain these populations long term, keep these habitats going, keep these animals going without having to go back to get more from the wild. Maintain the genetic diversity, maintain their health. And so we can always show these animals to people and have them understand the diversity of life that is so tiny and you don't even necessarily know is out there under your feet.
So we're a little closer to home now. This is our Atlantic Coral Reef. Caring for corals, I understand, is one of the more delicate habitats that we care for here.
The coral tanks are a lot more delicate than the non-coral systems in that we're looking at a lot more trace elements because the corals are using those trace elements. But it's also a little bit more of a living habitat where the rock is alive, there's a lot more life throughout the entire habitat that is cohabitating, where there's fish that are eating algae to control algae to keep the algae off the corals. So it's kind of very advanced and a little bit like gardening, and you're just watching how the corals grow, how are they interacting with each other, and trying to keep everyone happy in that habitat. As well as the lighting, we're constantly pushing into new realms with LED lighting now and being able to reach higher and higher light levels, using less energy, less heat in the building, but we're actually reaching levels of lighting that we can grow corals that haven't been able to be grown in aquariums before.
That's awesome, and it's also in line then with our conservation mission, of course, which is to keep these habitats protected not only within our walls, but also, of course, outside of them.
We're currently helping the state of Florida deal with a disease issue on live corals in the reef. We received corals from Florida, and these were corals that were taken from the reef that were not diseased yet. And so the effort is to try to hold those corals until the disease passes through the waters, and that the hope is that one day we'll be able to rebuild the reefs with these corals that we've protected.
These little coral animals really do provide kind of the base of the whole entire reef ecosystem, where we see so much diversity. Behind me, we have our life support filtration room, also known as our pump room. I've got Andy Aiken here to tell us a little bit about what goes on down here with these systems, maintaining the water, which is, of course, kind of at the heart of every single thing that we do here at the National Aquariums.
So what we are doing with our life support systems is maintaining a healthy aquatic environment for our animals, one that supports their well-being and their welfare. So a lot of people think, it's filtration, right? So, they must be removing dirt and debris. But that's really not what we're doing at all. When animals are in a finite volume of water, when they're anywhere really, they're breathing things out and they're eating food and processing waste. And these things are being deposited right into the same water that they are breathing. So if we do nothing, it's bad news. So we have to counteract all these things. And each of these things that they're breathing out or depositing, that's the beginning of a chemical reaction. So all of our systems are designed to counteract or mitigate those chemical reactions. So here at the aquarium, we are processing over 1 million gallons of water every hour. We're using about a dozen different water treatment technologies so that things can ultimately be a very stable aquatic environment for the animals.
Where do we get all of this water? I have a feeling that this particular, very unique water in the Amazon isn't something that we can just pull out of here in the Inner Harbor in Baltimore.
No, it's not. So in particular for the Amazon River Forest, we're starting with Baltimore City water, which is a very good high quality water, by the way. So we're removing chlorine from that, obviously, but then we run it through a reverse osmosis, take out all the mineral content. So that is kind of replicating what's happening in that region in the Amazon. The larger picture here at the aquarium, you're right, we don't use the water from the inner harbor. Unfortunately, it's fairly polluted. So again, we're starting with Baltimore City water, very high quality, removing the chlorine, and then we add salts to that water in batches. We make about 150 or so thousand gallons of seawater every month, and that's used then stored and is available to all of our seawater systems.
So it takes a lot of work, in other words. And also, what an incredible revelation to think of, all of this equipment and, the power that it takes for us humans to recreate these conditions here in an aquarium setting. These are all things that nature does on its own.
That's right. So what I was talking about before, things that they're breathing out and depositing into the water, that's happening in a natural environment too. So we have vast amounts of dilution, first of all, but then there are other biological processes happening in the natural environment. And those are some of the things that we replicate in our life support systems.
So we have seen a lot of amazing animals, amazing habitats, and all of the work that goes into providing them with the most excellent care that we can provide here within the walls of the National Aquarium. What we do outside of the building, inspiring folks both in our community and around the world to take action to protect these natural resources, is kind of at the heart of every single thing we do here. From habitat restoration to animal rescue and youth education, we are here to inspire our guests, have them leave feeling optimistic and ready to share that conservation message with their own communities. I'm so grateful that you all joined us. I do hope that you got to see some amazing things, some incredible animals, and we hope that we'll see you soon here at the National Aquarium.